When you think of William Shakespeare, you probably think of his big dramatic plays. Some of his most profound ideas are actually hidden away in the songs he wrote for those plays. Today we're going to explore one of these masterpieces, Blow, Blow, Thou Winter Wind.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind.
Now, the first thing to know is that this isn't just a standalone poem. It's actually a song from Shakespeare's famous play, As You Like It. It was written during the Renaissance period, and its genre is what we call a pastoral lyric. Now, pastoral simply means it celebrates the simplicity of country life, and that context is absolutely key to understanding the poem's message.
The specific setting here is crucial. The song is performed in the Forest of Arden, which is presented as an idealized, natural world. Shakespeare uses this setting very deliberately to create a strong contrast between the honesty you find in nature and the deceitfulness of human society, especially the royal court from which the characters have escaped.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind.
The poem opens by speaking directly to the winter wind. The speaker says that its bite, no matter how harsh it feels, is not as unkind as human ingratitude. So right from the start, we're presented with this very powerful comparison.
Let's break that down. The wind causes a physical pain, a biting cold. But this pain is honest. You expect it from winter. Man's ingratitude, on the other hand, causes an emotional wound. It's an invisible pain, a deceptive one. And because it often comes from a person you trust, it hurts much, much more deeply.
The second stanza follows a very similar pattern. Here, the speaker addresses the bitter sky and asks it to freeze. But once again, he says that its coldness does not wound as closely or as nigh as the pain of being forgotten by a friend whom you have helped.
This second comparison really intensifies the theme. The freezing sky is a natural hardship, something we can expect. But benefits forgot, when someone forgets the good you have done for them, that's a human betrayal. It's a sting that comes from falsehood, not from nature, and that's what makes the pain far sharper.
This table here lays out Shakespeare's argument quite neatly. On one hand, the winter elements, the wind and the sky, cause physical pain. It's a sharp tooth or a sting. It is a visible, honest cruelty. But man's ingratitude causes emotional pain, the pain of betrayal. This is an invisible, deceitful cruelty, a form of moral corruption that, for Shakespeare, cuts far deeper than any physical cold ever could.
After each of these dark, cynical stanzas, the song suddenly shifts into this surprisingly upbeat chorus.
Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly, then hey-ho!
It says, most friendship is feigning, meaning it's fake or pretend, and most loving mere folly or foolishness. And then, in the very next breath, it declares, this life is most jolly. This contradiction is jarring, and you must understand, it is completely intentional. By calling life jolly immediately after exposing its deepest pains, the singer adopts a tone that is both humorous and accepting. It's a way of looking at the world's flaws and acknowledging them, but without falling into despair. So, from this, we can see several key themes emerging. First, we have the condemnation of ingratitude. Second, the core contrast between nature and humanity. But that refrain introduces a third crucial idea, stoic acceptance. This is the idea of facing harsh truths with a cheerful outlook, and this is perfectly captured by the poem's key symbol, the green holly, an evergreen plant that represents endurance and life, even in the harshest winter.
So, how does Shakespeare achieve such a powerful effect? Let's now examine his artistic toolkit, the specific literary techniques he uses to create such deep meaning.
The first major device he uses is called an apostrophe. In poetry, this is when a speaker talks directly to an object or an idea that can't actually reply. We see this in the very first line. The singer isn't just talking about the wind, he's talking to it, saying, blow, blow. This choice makes the entire poem feel incredibly personal and much more dramatic. The next important device is personification. This is the technique of giving human qualities or abilities to things that are not human.
For instance, the poem says the wind has a tooth. Now, of course, the wind doesn't literally have teeth. By giving it this quality, Shakespeare makes the wind feel like a living creature that can actually bite you, making its harshness much more vivid for us as readers. Shakespeare also uses several other devices. There's the refrain, which is the repeated chorus of hi-ho, sing hi-ho, which adds to the song-like quality and creates that sense of cheerful irony. The tooth is also a metaphor, comparing the wind's sharpness to an animal's bite. And you can hear the alliteration, that repetition of sounds like in freeze, freeze, which just makes the poem more musical to the ear.
We now arrive at our final section. Why should we, 400 years later, still be studying this poem? What is its lesson for modern life?
Well, this question brings us to the poem's central puzzle. The chorus says that friendship is often fake, or feigning, and love is often foolish, or folly. So, if life is full of such disappointment, how can the song then declare, "This life is most jolly"?
The poem's moral offers us an answer. It teaches us that the pain of false friendship is a deeper wound than any physical hardship. It argues that it is better to face the honest harshness of nature than the hidden deceit of people. And ultimately, it suggests that we should learn to accept life's coldness and find a way to laugh through it anyway. And in a world that is still full of pretense, that message is timeless. And so we end with this final memorable line. It's a declaration of joy in the face of hardship. It suggests that by embracing the truth, symbolized by that evergreen holly, we can find a reason to sing, even when the world around us feels cold. It leaves us to wonder, can we too find cheerfulness amidst life's inevitable winters?
Thank you.